Hello, and after a year off, March Madness is finally here. The Sports Talkline Network is going to have you covered from the first four to the championship game this year. I am your host, of course, Joshua Griffith, here for the Unnamed Sports Show. And today we will be talking about, of course, the NCAA Men's March Madness bracket. I said it's finally been because basketball fanatics have been waiting since 2019 for the next installment of the Cinderella tournament. Anything can happen and everything can happen, and that's what makes this so much fun for basketball fans. What a crazy tournament we have this year, as Duke will take on no one. As for the first time since 1995, Duke will not be in the NCAA March Madness tournament. So I was 7 at the time. My producer was not born yet, and OG Simpson was just a football player. This is going to be an exciting year as we have so many storylines and matchups to look forward to. Unfortunately, I can't keep you here all day, as we will just look into the beginning of the tournament, but don't worry, because we're going to have you covered for all of the action every round, and I will be here after the rounds end to get you caught up with the action as we get closer to crowning this year's NCAA men's basketball champions. So before we get into the brackets, make sure to like and subscribe to the Sports Talkline channel down at the bottom. Set your notifications too, because we want to keep you up to date with everything in the NCAA tournament. So if you hit the notification button, it's just going to make it easier for you. You're going to get all the highlight videos. You're going to get these updates, all that stuff, every other coverage that we have for you. Also follow on Sports Talkline's network's social medias across every platform for tons more coverage. Obviously, the first four was established in 2011 to give lower teams in the NCAA divisions a chance to show their moves at the dance. This year, we have some teams that could do more than just show their moves, and let's take a glimpse at those games before we get into the bracket. The first game of the day will be between Mount St. Mary and Texas Southern, before Wichita State and Drake battle out for the number 11 seed. Both teams are coming off disappointing ends to their season in the ACC semifinals and the MVC title game, where Drake lost to Loyola. Norfolk State and Appalachian State will decide who gets to lose to Gonzaga before the last game of the evening. We'll see Michigan State look to continue on their strong run to the end of the year with wins over Michigan, Ohio State, and Illinois as they take on UCLA. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the bracket as we start in the West. Number one, Gonzaga had an undefeated season, going 26-0, and they will take on, like I said, the winner of Norfolk State and Appalachian State. Number 8, Oklahoma will play number 9, Missouri, while number 5, Creighton will play number 12, UC Santa Barbara. Virginia at the 4 spot will take on number 13, Ohio State, while number 6, USC will take on number 11, the winner of Wichita State and Drake. Kansas at 3 will take on Eastern Washington with the number 14 spot, while Oregon versus number 10, Virginia Commonwealth University is the next matchup. To finish out the bracket in the West, number 2, Ohio will take on number 15, Grand Canyon. So the favorite in this bracket, well, I'm going to say it's Gonzaga after an undefeated season. Coach Mark Fuse will have his team ready to go. He's going to be looking at his stars, Jalen Suggs, Corey Kispert, Drew Timm, and Joel Ayayi, just to name a few, to basically ride it through to hopefully the Final Four and a NCAA title. They were able to beat the number 2, 3, and 4 seeds already this season, Iowa, Kansas, and Virginia in the regular season. So they're ready to go, and they have a lot to prove there. Possible upsets in this bracket, we might not have that many, but maybe we'll see the number 5 Creighton falling to number 12 UC Santa Barbara. But an intriguing matchup with the number 7 and the number 2 Iowa awaits in the second round. So Luke Garza, the National Player of the Year, will try and make sure that does not happen for Iowa. We got a couple of players to watch in this side of the bracket on the West, as Jalen Suggs for Gonzaga averaged 14.3 points, 5.5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, and 2 steals a game. He could lead a really talented Gonzaga team all the way this year, and watch for him and his NBA draft stock to rise depending on how he does in this tournament. You know, could be anywhere from a number 3 to a number 5 pick. Chris Daughtry for Oregon. I said the Ducks obviously could upset number 2 Iowa in the second round, and a big reason for this would be the guard. He shot 61% from 2-point range, 43% from beyond the arc, and Oregon finished with a 20-6 record in the Pac-12. So that is the West region taken care of. Let's move on to the East, as number 1 Michigan takes on the winner of Mount St. Mary's and Texas Southern. LSU will take on number 9 St. Bonaventure. Number 5 Colorado takes on number 12 Cinderella story Georgetown. We'll get into more of that story a little bit later. Number 4 Florida State versus number 13 UNC Greensboro. BYU will take on the winner of Michigan State and UCLA. Number 3 Texas will take on 14 Abilene Christian. And a really intriguing matchup actually for the East region is number 7 UConn, who always has a strong year. They're normally a lot higher than 7. Will take on number 10 Maryland, who also had a great year. If you're looking for another upset, maybe this one, Maryland over UConn. Number 2 Alabama will finish things off against number 15 Iona. So is there a favorite in this bracket? Pretty much anyone has the number 1 seed Michigan. Got the number 2 seed and SEA tournament champions Alabama. Number 3 seed Big 12 tournament champions Texas. Can Florida maybe make a run? Who is the favorite of the East? I didn't want to pick a winner, but I do have a soft spot for the Wolverines. Fat vibe, what can I say? The East is full of storylines and excitement, and Patrick Ewing brought Georgetown into the tournament with an amazing run, capping it off with a Big East tournament win over Creighton at the MSG to top it off, right? You know, they told Patrick Ewing, you're not allowed here, but he basically said, yeah, I'm allowed wherever I want at MSG. So if we're looking for possible upsets in the East region, I mentioned Georgetown. Obviously, they're on the Cinderella story, had a recent high. They might be able to make it past number 5 Colorado. UCLA and Michigan State play today in the first 4, and either of those teams I could see upsetting Brigham Young University at the number 6 spot to move on to the next round. So players to watch for this division, looking at Hunter Dickinson from Michigan. Big freshman inside. He's going to need to get lots of rebounds. He's going to need to do it on the glass if Michigan wants to go deep in this tournament. No, he's shooting 59.9% from field goal range. One of the leading rebounders in the nation. He needs to have a big tournament for the Wolverines to go deep. Somebody else that I'm also watching is Cam Thompson from LSU, Louisiana State University. Another freshman. The kid, he's got some moves. Like, he's got some dribbling skills. I don't want to compare him to anybody, but he can dribble. He can back it up. He can fire off from beyond the arc. The kid's got game. So maybe LSU, if this kid gets hot, could make a run, but who knows? So that takes care of the first half of the bracket, as they will tip off Saturday, March 20th. Make sure to tune into the Sports Talk Line Network for all of the game highlights, analysis, and of course the second half of our NCAA Men's March Madness bracket. So, for the Sports Talk Line Network, I have been your host, Joshua Griffith, here on the NCAA March Madness breakdown show on the Unnamed Sports Show. Make sure to tune in to all of the highlights for the first four tomorrow, and then tomorrow check out the other half of the bracket as we will break down the rest of the tournament. As always, make sure to like and subscribe down at the bottom, and stay tuned for more basketball, NCAA fans.